Welcome. Today I will be paraphrasing, summarizing, and sharing for the November 28th Al-Anon readings, Encouraged to Change, and a little time for myself. And today in the United States, it is Thanksgiving. And Al-Anon usually has several Al-Anon-a-thons going on holidays such as today. So you can, if you're interested, you can just Google Al-Anon-a-thons or go to Al-Anon.org to find meetings throughout the day, if that appeals to you. Also, I just wanted to say Happy Thanksgiving to those who celebrate. And I know that this can be a very challenging day sometimes, especially if you are trying to navigate substance abuse, alcoholism currently. So I just wanted to mention that me and my partner are going to our friend's house today. And but also there have been many years where I spent Thanksgiving Day completely alone, in my pajamas, reading a good book, drinking a nice hot cup of tea, and there's nothing wrong with that. So whatever you are doing today, I hope you can do it with peace and love, and of course, safety. I hope that you're safe today. And that's all. We'll begin with the Serenity Prayer and 3 mindful breaths. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. Take a minute to look this over. The question of the day is, when do I find it challenging to keep my mind open to other points of view? The passage is about striving not to judge anyone. Growing up in a judgmental household, being critical can become a means of survival. The slogan, keep an open mind. Sometimes our higher power speaks through other people in our meetings, and even though we may not feel warm and cozy with someone who's sharing because they may have expressed opinions or views that we just don't agree with, and the fact is they may say something that's very, very helpful to us and may change our perspective if we're open to it. So today's reminder, whether we're in a meeting or not, we can try to be less judgmental and be flexible in our thinking. The quote from Survival to Recovery mentions humility. I love the concept of humility. Totally changed my life. I use it every day. Using humility to release prejudices and identify with others, especially if they're not just like us. It's so easy to talk with people who we know feel similarly in certain subjects, but the real magic happens when we can talk with someone who has a differing point of view and have a civil conversation. I've been doing that with my dad lately, and one of the conversations was pretty ugly, but I made amends, and it's interesting just to see the different perspective. Back to the question, when do I find it challenging to keep my mind open to other points of view? Well, I would say, just from the example I was talking about with conversation with my dad, it's when I feel really strongly about something and I feel like I'm right. And it's really obvious to me that I am right. And how can others not see that what's right is right? That's when it's challenging to keep an open mind. Also, when I feel unsafe, when I am fearful, for me, it was interesting because the conversation that I had with my dad, he said it's lack of education. People feel a certain way because lack of education. And I said, not all the time. I said, sometimes it's fear. And I said, for me, this is when I was like I was making amends for the previous phone call. I said, for me, it was fear. I said, we were talking about something that I felt very strongly about, and I felt fear for other people who were not going to get, in my mind, the help that they may need. And to me, that's scary. And that's what drove my, I guess, anger. I guess that's what it was. Um, so that's when it's hard to keep an open mind to other people's points of view. It's a really good example for me and a really good experience, because kind of, periods of time will go by and I won't feel really strongly about something, or it won't be right in front of my face, but then there'll be times when it's so close and I know exactly how I feel. And it's challenging. It's challenging. But I think that the goal is like to definitely have my thoughts, but to be calm enough to hear someone else speak, especially if they're being like respectful and calm. If it gets out of hand, then I'm not going to accept unacceptable behavior, and I will just do what I can to end the conversation, or to end the interaction altogether. But it's definitely a thing, and it's so funny that this is Thanksgiving Day, because when we're meeting with family and friends and different things come up, it can be really challenging to stay calm. Now, where me and my partner are going today, I don't expect there to be a lot of stress or anything like that. But I can imagine with different people getting together that there's going to be a lot of interesting conversations. Oh, we can only control what we can control. So how about you? When do you find it challenging to keep your mind open to other points of view? Moving on. This reading is about step 4. Step 4, made a searching and fearless moral inventory of ourselves. The person who wrote this passage talks about the irony of working this step. The things that they thought were positives ended up causing them much strife, and the traits that they had not focused on ended up being their true virtues. So he kind of balanced the work, made this person feel a lot more balanced, seeing themselves clearly gave them a sense of wholeness and peace. Today's reminder talks about how change is always happening, and being aware lets us be truthful that change is always happening. And when we are aware of our actions and what we say out loud, what we say to ourselves, we get to understand who we really are and who we really want to be. That's lovely. I'm not sure I have anything else to add to that. I think that is very similar to my experience working step 4. I think that the first time I did it with my therapist, and she agreed with what I wrote. And then I did it a couple of years later with my sponsor. And she really questioned me on why I thought different things. And she really challenged anything negative that I said about myself. And not that there aren't very, negative things about me, but being too harsh on ourselves is not productive. And I was beginning to understand humility when I did the step with my sponsor, and I've been practicing it a long time now, the idea of humility, that we're really all equal. No one's less than, no one's better. And I'm not talking about society and the way society rates people or groups of people, whatever. What I'm saying is that on a much higher level, none of that matters, because We're all human beings who want to belong and feel loved. And I know that's a huge oversimplification, but in my heart, it's really the absolute truth. And and I don't know what else to say. That's it. That's it. We'll close out with the serenity prayer and 3 mindful breaths. Here we go. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. Thank you so much for joining me today. I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow. Sending you love. Take care.